Howdy folks. So got some stuff laid out here. What I was gonna do is just kind of talk about some of the essential items that I take on a hunt, like a backcountry trip, where say when I walk away from my base camp or just the camp that morning and I'm taking off for the day and there's a possibility I won't make it back, which is pretty near every time in the backcountry. Some of the things that I never leave camp without, that I feel like are gonna save me if I'm solo, you know, or I need to stay on the mountain, I just can't get back to the guys, something like that happens. I wanna make sure every time I walk away, even if it's just a planned day trip, that I have in the pack what's gonna get me either safely out or keep me on the mountain warm and safe that night. So I'm gonna go through a few things. First, I think, as we all know, most important is a communication device. And I've been playing with a bunch of them. Now, I've used the inReach a lot for a long time. I'm running the Mini. And I've been playing with this bivy stick quite a bit. There's others I'm gonna try as well. There's some pros and cons to each, right? I think the bivy stick has got some pros. It's got a dedicated phone number. You just give somebody your number and they can text you on it. The inReach has advantages. Say if you do lose your phone, you can hammer out on this thing a message to somebody if you need to. But I think each device out there has pluses and minuses. I'd say the plus on the bivy is that dedicated number. I found that it's pretty dang fast. And no matter what, even if you were to lose your phone, you can still hit the SOS button. You can hit the check-in button. It's been pretty effective, but still playing. So communication device just to be able to sound the alarm if something happens, check in with your guys, your family. You know, if you get busted up on the mountain, you got to have something like that. Fire starter, obviously that's an easy one. You know, for some of the fire starter items, I'm always playing. I think we all do. We always play with different types of starter. You know, I've ran Vaseline cotton balls. These are these little plugs, these little fire plugs. That's real similar, just like a Vaseline cotton ball basically, but they put a name on it. But they're lightweight and they burn really, really well. I've been playing with those for the last few trips. One thing I've always been a big fan of is S-bit. I've got a whole box in here, which I won't be taking. But these little cubes burn hot, so I'd say if you're in like a wet, real wet environment, you have the ability to dry out some smaller tinder to get that fire ripping. So I always have a couple cubes of S-bit on me as well. As far as lighters, always 2 Bics in case these go down or I soak them. I've got some waterproof matches in a waterproof container. And then I've also got a plasma lighter in here as well. So in wind and such, this helps if I need to get a fire going. Just one other piece that I have in this little fire starter kit is just some repair material. So Gear Aid, I've got tenacious tape, just some patches that I can use for, say, a big tear in the tent, tear in one of my down pieces, whatever I need to fix. I've got just a variety of different little patches that I can use, along with trekking poles. They always have, you know, tenacious tape, or sorry, Leuco tape, and then I've always got some duct tape. Sometimes I have electrical tape on there as well, but just multiple ways to fix and repair things in the field. Next, I would say is a tarp. So I always have a tarp in there, no matter what, because generally I'm not day hunting away from camp with a shelter. I'm usually leaving it set up on a lot of hunts. Sometimes we pack it up and take it with us, but a lot of times we're just hiking away from the base camp. So I always have a tarp, usually in about a 10 by, and you know, have it ready to set up. You know, I always have the cordage all set in place. All I got to do is throw the truckers up, start staking it out, get it up in a pinch. I can ride out a storm. Say I bust myself up, this can get me through the night. under this in bad weather. And that kind of coincides with the puffy gear. You know, I've always got a puffy jacket in there, but on a lot of trips, if there's a potential to have to ride out a night, I bring my puffy pants as well. And you know, then I'm not packing a full sleeping bag, but I've got puff gear and a tarp to ride out anything in that if I have to, especially if I got a fire close by. One item probably most guys don't pack, but I find is generally in my pack and in most environments is Microspikes. These things, they may not sound like a life-saving piece of gear, but they absolutely can be. You know, when you're in real steep country and you get, maybe it freezes, but the higher chance that you're just gonna get a big rainstorm come through and soak everything. And you know, this yellow grass gets slick. You know, I just got back from a fall bear hunt where the huckleberry brush, it's almost hard to stand or stay on your feet in that terrain without Microspike. So this can save you picking across snow fields. You know, if you don't have these, you might put your life in jeopardy in some scenarios, but I definitely put this in the category of a must-have to take with in certain environments. You know, if I'm hunting the breaks country and flatlands, probably not gonna have these. I'm also gonna throw something else in the emergency, you know, gotta have it, and that's this solar charger. Say I get stuck somewhere, you know, I used to just bring power banks. I'd bring, you know, a dark energy, or if it was 12 days, I'd bring 2 dark energies. That's great and all, but when you're out, which can be a big problem. Say you left something on or whatever. And these days we're charging our stereo pins, our headlights, you know, all kinds of things are getting charged. Our communication devices, our phones. So you go through quite a bit of power. And so I've found that these solar chargers are kind of a must-have. Definitely I would throw it in the emergency piece of gear because you can always grab some juice. You know, if a sunny day, great, but even those cloudy days, you can grab just enough to get maybe your inReach or bivy charged up, or your phone to be able to message out, or to get a map pulled up if all else fails. So this is usually always right here in the back of my pack. It just sits there, it stays there, and it's getting used quite a bit. And I've also found that now I can bring one bank, charge that bank, not have to pack 2, and it's actually not a bad, you know, for weight. This thing weighs, I think, 17 ounces or something like that, and I think most power banks are about 9. So this is a huge win. And you know, if you're watching movies and stuff at night, you're going to burn through a lot of power as well. So we definitely ride out some storms, watch a couple movies, and it just burns up the power. Next, I'm going to throw in the med kit. Probably one of the more important pieces that I've really never had to use, except for a few bumps and scrapes and stuff like that with the kids. But it's something that has the potential to be needed at any point on any one of these trips. So this is actually a kit that me and Dr. Corey Tingelstad put together. He's an ER doctor, an avid hunter, great guy. He actually comes out to my summits every year and does his backcountry medical course. So he put this kit together, which basically he feels and we felt had everything needed to get you through most situations. You know, you always got to think about, there's other things that you can bring in these emergency situations, obviously, but what are you willing to pack, you know? And this kit right here is what we're willing to pack, and it can save you from pretty much most situations that you're going to find yourself in. This thing is 14 ounces, and what it has is, now there's a few extras in here. I carry a little bit of epi with an epi pen and extra Benadryl. You know, there's a lot of people now that are anaphylactic if they get stung in situations like that. So this is not only for me, but for others if they have a situation with, we're running into beehives all the time out there. So I always have that with me. I'm just gonna go through this kit real fast. Obviously a nice tourniquet that is easy to get to, easy to use, you're familiar with. This one is real slick, that's why we have it in there. Some pet wrap, just to kind of keep bandages in place. This kit has a SAM splint, which is really nifty. I'm not going to go into too many details or unravel this or whatever, but this is a great item to have in there for breaks, you know, broken arm, broken leg, whatever. It builds a really good splint, and it's lightweight, and it fits in this kit sack here. A triangle bandage for, you know, wanting to put your arm up in case you get a sprain. There's packages of gauze in here. There's multiple sizes and types of bandages. You know, it's not overkill on the bandages. It has probably just enough. You know, it's got some medications as well, extra Benadryl, acetaminophen, some pain relievers, aspirin. It's got a little piece of leukotape in here. Like I said, multiple bandages, got some ointments, sterilizing ointments, anti-diarrheal medication in there, iodine for cleaning, some bigger packages for put into a wound with gauze. So it's kind of got you covered as far as that goes. A couple gloves in here if you want to keep it clean. It also has, say you get a puncture or you go down a scree field and you really nick up your shin or whatever, and you need to clean it out a little bit. You take a gouge out of yourself somehow. It's got a it's got a needle in here to be able to kind of pick that wound clean. It's got a toothbrush in here to kind of scrape out the crud, tweezers, and a syringe that you can use to irrigate it, you know, push water into it and try to clean it as best possible. So this kit right here really has you covered when it comes to most things that you're going to deal with out there. Again, it's hard to take everything, and really you just want to take what you're willing to pack. And this is what I'm willing to pack. So that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. I think everything else is pretty self-explanatory, you know. You're gonna bring a snack bag with you, obviously, water bottle, ways to purify water. But in my opinion, those items right there are pretty crucial to have if you're just gonna bomb away from your base camp that day and do a day hunt, solo, even with somebody else. You just wanna make sure you have it or your partner has it as well.